Hi, welcome to Sharing with Susan B, telling stories from the heart. We're looking to inspire, telling stories of struggle, vulnerability, and lessons learned. Hi, I'm Susan Blaine, and welcome. Really excited to introduce you to today's guest. One of my favorite people, Louise H. Reid. And she's an empowerment coach for women. She's a radio show host and podcaster, and she's also an HR consultant. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. But she did study biology and psychology in school. And I always find it interesting that most people that I sit down with don't actually do what they studied. But that's true for most of us. You stumbled into HR because you needed a job. And then you spent 18 years in the field here in Ottawa. You worked for Nortel, Hydro Ottawa, Nav Canada, some big companies. And then in 2017, you decided to make the leap into entrepreneurship. And you had a mentor and an old boss pass away, and it was kind of the catalyst for you to make that leap, right?
Perhaps that was a big straw that broke the camel's back. I think it was an awakening that was waiting to happen. And that was the moment that it just pushed me over the edge to take action.
To get out of corporate?
Yeah, to get out of corporate.
And
really
corporate hustle.
and follow my heart.
Yeah.
And that sounds so cheesy. It sounds so cheesy. And I finally feel like I'm at a point in my life and my career where I can actually embrace the cheese.
Yeah, I love the cheese.
I love the cheese.
I love cheesy.
There's nothing wrong.
Well, as long as you keep it real.
Yeah.
Right? What was your biggest struggle?
So, I mean, to be frank, we could have the whole episode on the struggles, and I realize that we don't have time for that. If I were to pick, there were a couple. One is a business struggle, I suppose, and one's a more personal struggle. Yeah. And there are many even layered within that. I'd say the business one is I found that, okay, I know what I want to do. I finally have identified that. I've got the courage. I've got the grit. I've got the business, the business idea, and I go for it. And then it's like, ta-da! I'm here, everybody. And actually making it viable.
Yeah. You need money.
Money, right?
Yeah.
Actually finding clients and making money.
You go from the security of a paying gig to having to create revenue for yourself.
And the patience even associated with that. It takes patience. It doesn't just happen overnight.
No.
We see a lot of overnight successes, so we think.
So we think, yeah. They're never overnight successes when you dig. Yeah. And you peel away the layers and you know that everyone struggled.
Yeah.
Because that's what's real. And there's a real fear of supporting your family.
So, and that really speaks to the personal aspect. So they're linked. So I have 4 boys. One of my boys has significant learning differences. And I'm very thankful that very early on those were identified. And I pushed really hard to get all of those identified. And as much as I hate labels, it helped us identify the help he needed. The reason I share this is because me leaving corporate and starting my own business put my ability
to support his needs
at risk.
Yeah.
And there is nothing scarier than that for me.
Yeah. No, I totally get it.
And that was extremely difficult. But I was at a point where I truly felt dead inside.
Yeah.
I was just at another fork in the road. I have depression. Mm-hmm. I know what the junction looks like. I've been down one path, and I've been in that hole, that lonely, dark hole, when you can see the light above you, and you don't know how to get out.
Yeah, it's not shining on you.
It's not shining on you.
No.
I remember being in that hole and felt like I was calling out to people, like, help me, jumping, and not being able to get out. So when I was at that junction again, I felt myself, I know what one path looks like.
Yeah.
And I've been there. I'm not going there again. So for me, it was actually fear of going down that path again. It was fear about falling in that hole.
Fear is a big motivator too.
So I didn't have faith. Mm-hmm. There was no room for faith there. For me, that was fear. And the fear of going down there was far greater than the fear of leaping and following my dreams.
Wow.
But it was sad. It's hard for me to think about that. It's hard for me to remember that that's how low I had to get.
Yeah. Sometimes we do have to go, right? We have to hit the bottom before we can come back up, right? There's only one way after that. Yeah. So good for you. And so struggles are real and they teach us. So what were the real big lessons for you through some of those struggles?
I'm going to lay on some cheese again. This is a
cliche.
This is a cliche I was saying.
No, I love it.
But everyone knows it's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
100%.
And I think I learned that
Yeah.
along the way, not just along the way through entrepreneurship, But, my 20s and my 30s, it was a destination I was seeking. It's like, I'll get this, I'll get that, and then I'm set.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to
I'll
be happy.
Yes.
All I found was Misery Street. So I learned through that I had to actually start enjoying the process. Living is now.
Yeah.
You're living today.
Yeah.
You've got to live every day. So that was a learning for me.
Yeah.
I also learned I was far more courageous and stronger than I'd ever given myself credit for. And to ask for help.
Yes.
To ask for help along the way.
Yes, because that's true strength, for sure. So I'll ask you, what advice would you give your younger self? Or you've just given it, but what would
Be kind. Be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
That really is it. And that's probably the thing
it sounds so simple, but it's difficult to do at times, isn't it? What's the next chapter for Louise H. Reid?
I'm writing a book.
Oh.
Why not?
Is that the name of the book? Why not? No. Or why not write a book?
Why not write a book? Why not add something else?
Well, they say everybody has a book or two in them.
It's fascinating because the more I write, the more I realize how many more stories I have.
You're on a roll.
I know.
All right.
It's amazing just to tap into that creativity.
Yeah.
And so many ways to
express it. And you're working with a great coach to help you do that too.
Absolutely. I will never be coachless again. I won't.
No, I'm a big fan too. You know that. I mean, we all need help getting unstuck sometimes and reaching for more and being reminded of our great potential.
I think we need people in our lives to fulfill all sorts of roles.
Yeah.
You need a partner. You need that friend that you can call that will cheer you on regardless of how you're doing. You need that friend who can cut through the what and tell it yeah. And then you need that person, that coach, to actually guide you perhaps where you've never been before, but they've made it. They've been there.
Push you a little bit more.
Or sometimes pull.
Yeah. How about some rapid fire questions?
Yeah.
So we can learn some things about Louise H. Reid. Rapid fire. So who's your favorite superhero? We have a prop.
I had to bring a prop. So my favorite superhero, how can it not be Wonder Woman?
How can it not be?
But I have to tell a story. I know this is rapid fire. The story is after I was on someone's radio show, my two very best girlfriends took me out for lunch. There was a present on the table when I got there. They knew what a fan of Wonder Woman that I was. And so they got a woman from Australia who was the original person to create this drawing.
Beautiful.
Had her paint it for me. They commissioned her to paint it. And one of the quotes that I shared on that radio show, they got her to write it here, and that's "Your dreams are calling."
Oh, I love it. Where's
so this
that,
is
in your office?
It's in my office.
Yes, of course.
It's in my office.
Love it. Favorite food indulgence, Louise?
I have 3. I mean, seriously, can you believe I would just have one? Coffee, wine, chocolate.
Coffee, wine, chocolate. Nice.
Not
combo.
necessarily in that order.
No, but
depends on the day.
All together. Someone you admire.
My mom.
Something not too many people know about you.
I sang in a choir from the age of 8 to 18.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, we should do a duet sometime. I love it. How about a favorite movie, book, quote?
Favorite book? There are many. One that stands out is Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg.
Oh, yes.
It's the first time I identified with being a feminist. So that's powerful for me.
Yes. You got a favorite quote? This one?
No, that one's not, actually.
Many.
It is Meghan Markle. The latest is from Meghan Markle. And she said, women don't need to find their voice. They already have a voice. They need to be empowered to use it, and others need to be encouraged to listen.
Way to go, Meghan.
I know.
What's something that always makes you smile?
Walk in the woods with Jay. He's my main squeeze. And kisses and cuddles from my boys.
Oh, gosh, yes. What's the definition of success in one sentence?
Waking up every day and loving your life.
I like that. Louise H. Reid, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for
That was a
participating
blast.
in this.
My pleasure.
For sharing, because I know there's a lot of people that will be able to relate to your story. You can find Louise on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. She has some great posts on all those platforms. LinkedIn in particular. I love following you and Jay. LouiseHreid.com is where you can find and learn more about Louise. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you guys for tuning in.